Good evening, I'm Justin Betti. Tonight we are exactly 5 weeks until the 2020 presidential election. Tonight we had what was billed as the first presidential debate of this election season. Of course, people these days are divided, so we expected people to think whichever candidate they support won the debate and whichever side they oppose lost the debate. Instead, the overwhelming sentiment, at least on social media, was just embarrassment. Watch this interaction after former Vice President Joe Biden was asked about the Supreme Court opening.
You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now.
Are you going to pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator. I'm not going to answer the question
Why would you answer that
because
question?
the question is radical left. Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe? Who's on your list?
Right. Gentlemen, I think
this
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the court.
We have
not going to give a list.
We have ended this segment. We're going to.
That's Fox News host Chris Wallace, who moderated tonight's debate, widely regarded as one of the hardest interviewers in the country from both sides. Tonight, many people think Wallace was just overwhelmed by the chaos on stage, though at one point he appeared to have enough.
Sir,
with $1 billion, if you
that is absolutely
you know what,
not true.
You're doing it.
You're going to
Not
have
true,
gentlemen. I hate to raise my voice, but it seems to be. Why should I be different than the two of you?
We had 90 minutes of this. We have 2 more debates planned. Anyway, the Forest County Republican Party held a presidential debate preview party tonight ahead of tonight's action. Newswatch 12's Zach White attended that event and brings us the latest.
I want you to pass along, Justin, to the weather people. We really would like to stop hearing about the projected feels-like temperature of the weather. If it's 38 and windy, we don't need to be told it's 32 feel-like. So please pass that along to make a lot of people happier to watch your program. Thank you.
Now, obviously, everyone has their own preferences, but I just feel a need to point out Jeff puts a lot of hard work into fine-tuning his feels-like calculations.
Hey, Jeff, got some ice cream bars?
Feels like 5 degrees. 80. Room temperature, 73. 65. Feels like 34.
No, obviously that's not how it works at all. If you don't know, the wind chill or feels like temperature is actually a pretty complicated equation to determine what the air feels like against someone's skin. And it's not something Jeff just kind of guesses. And he generally only uses it when he thinks the wind chill really matters. Like it's 65 degrees outside with a light breeze, Jeff's not going to say it feels like 63. But if it's 40 with a strong wind that makes it feel more like 28, he thinks that's something many people would like to know. Sorry if it's not your thing.
I wanted to say that the male staff that are on the air dress professional with suits and ties, but I feel that the women should dress more professional as well, like wearing a blazer or a sweater over a short sleeve.
Okay, so here's the thing. Guys have it a lot easier when it comes to what they can wear on air. When I started in TV 13 years ago, I had maybe 2 or 3 suits, a handful of dress shirts in white or blue, and a handful more ties, mostly hand-me-downs from my dad and my grandparents. And that was enough because guys can wear basically the same thing on air almost every day and no one knows or cares. Girls have it a lot harder. Society cares a lot more about what they look like, and there's not one type of outfit that everyone agrees upon. They can't just buy a tie and change the look. They need to buy a bunch of outfits, which gets expensive, especially for younger reporters like we often have here. And they have to decide for themselves if a certain dress is appropriate on air or not. And frankly, we don't want to get too involved in telling our female reporters what they should wear on air. We think they dress very appropriately and professionally. And more importantly, I think their work is very good here on Newswatch 12. Now these days, as a news anchor in a high-profile area like the Northwoods of Wisconsin, my look is meticulously crafted by a team of stylists and fashion consultants who I happen to live with. Let me give you a look at our process. Hey kids, what color should Daddy wear today?
Blue, pink, blue, pink.
All right, so how about we go blue suit and a pink tie?
Yeah.
All right, so that's pretty much the process. But anyway, thank you for calling. Good evening on this election night. I'm Justin Betti. Tonight we will fill you in on all the big state and local races, plus of course a look at the race for president. Regardless who wins, though, today already marks a historic day for the country as early projections show the U.S. shattering voting number records. It also marks a historic day in Rhinelander as the Hodag Dome makes its public debut as a polling location. We begin our Decision 2020 team coverage tonight with Newswatch 12's Andrew Goldstein in Rhinelander. Andrew, what does it look like there?
I'm Newswatch 12.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Now let's take a look at the races themselves and what they could mean for Wisconsin this week. Newswatch 12's Dan Hagan joins us now live in studio with those details. Dan.
W.com. Justin?
All right, thank you, Dan. We've been hearing about the record turnout in absentee and early voting this year, with roughly 2 million votes cast in Wisconsin before we ever got to Election Day. There was some question whether that would dampen some of the turnout today on Election Day itself. In Minocqua, though, by 7:30 this morning, just half an hour after polls opened, election officials tell us they were already over 100 votes in. That number doubled by the afternoon. Minocqua Town Clerk Robin Haggart says this is the most Minocqua residents she has seen vote in her whole life, and she believes the community understands its importance. It's the second of 3 debates we are hosting leading up to the November 3rd election. This one for a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives. Tonight we are joined by the 2 candidates for that seat, Republican Tom Tiffany and Democrat Tricia Zunker. And we aim to help you get to know these candidates a little better over the next 60 minutes. Because of COVID-19, our setup is a little different tonight. In order to ensure proper social distancing, we're spread out in the Newswatch 12 studio. There's no audience here tonight, though. In addition to airing on Newswatch 12 right now, we're also live streaming this debate on Facebook. So feel free to give your thoughts, suggest some questions if you like. We're going to focus on COVID-19. Wisconsin is a recent hotspot. The Department of Health Services reports we are averaging over 3,000 new cases a day over the last week. Hospitalization numbers are way up. Deaths are also up, though not as much. Governor Evers issued a statewide indoor mask mandate. Most local law enforcement have told us they can't or won't enforce it. Republicans are fighting it. So basically, first, are you in favor of the mandate? And if not, what measures do you think are appropriate to try and stop the spread? We begin with Mr. Tiffany.
Result.
Well, COVID-19 has also taken an economic toll on our nation. Lawmakers in Washington have been unable to reach a compromise on a second round of COVID-19 relief. So what do you think should be done to help people and businesses struggling right now? What would you like to see in the bill?
Well, my opponent believes that the most important...
And you should have that expectation of me also.
All right, time now for another short break. Be right back. You're watching the 7th Congressional District Debate here on Newswatch 12.